Hey guys, it's Brian with Bushcraft, and I thought I would show you a little bit about the bow drill today. So, the components of the bow drill is the bearing block, the bow, the drill or the spindle, and the baseboard or the hurt, and then something to collect the dust when you're making your antler. So in this case, I've just got a piece of birch bark. So before starting, you want to pick really dry wood, well-seasoned wood. Here in Alberta, I have a good choice of willow, which I'm going to use today, or I could use poplar or aspen. Has been quite well for me. I seem to get the best results when everything comes off the same branch in the same place. So I don't do well with that. One has to be harder than the other kind of theory. It doesn't seem to work for me that well. It might work for you. The next thing is obviously the wood has to be bone dry. So you can stick your nail into it. If it just kind of makes an indent, then you've probably got it seasoned just about where you want it to be. Next part is the ground, right? Obviously here in Alberta it's still winter, so the ground is quite wet. So I want to keep that wetness away from all my materials. So I'm going to take off my vest and put that down. Okay, so now everything stays nice and dry. Okay, so the first thing is the bow. You'll notice that the bow is arm length, or arm tip to fingertip, or armpit. And then the string that I have on it, you could use paracord. In this case, I've just got a piece of leather that seems to work well for me. You want to have the bow about a hand span away from the string. It seems to work well when you're using a spindle that's about as big as your thumb. The spindle, I like mine nice and long, so the longer it gets, it seems to, let a big guy like me get into position a little bit better. I find the short ones are just a little too hard for me to stay balanced with. And then your baseboard you want to use is just, again, the same piece. So the first thing we need to do is we need to actually bear in, the first thing we need to do is bore in a hole. So we're going to do that now. Okay, so we stick our spindle up and then around. Our bearing block goes neatly in our hand. Okay, we're gonna lock ourselves in so our shoulder and our arm are all locked into our leg, and we're actually gonna put our weight down onto it by leaning forward. We're not actually pushing down with our hand. That'll tire us out too quick. Okay, and when we're bowing, we're gonna bow nice and straight, right? Keeping the bow parallel to the ground. Again, don't let any of this touch the ground, because you risk the chance of actually having it collect moisture. You can already see here that my shoe, when it flicked across, has already put moisture into the wood. The next thing we need to do is to cut a little V-notch out of where we're starting to burn our hole in. and you'll see that it's kind of gone to the center, but not all the way, and that the wedge, it's a wedge shaped that's been carved out of the side of the baseboard. I'm just going to carve the top end of my spindle to make it nice and pointy. The whole goal of this is to create more friction. So less friction up here, more friction down here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is wind the spindle on. So again, I'm finding it just a little bit too loose, and you're going to have to actually learn this yourself by playing with it a little bit. But if it is so tight that it wants to fling out, then it's too tight. So again, everything is all locked in, and now we'll just warm up the baseboard here and get it ready for making once you have good smoke, go 30 times as fast and as hard as you can. So I have a coal. I don't know if you can see the smoke down by my feet here. But I burned the coal in now. So here it is. So the next thing is that people will always want to transfer this coal as fast as they can. But the reality of it is that it keeps building and getting bigger and stronger. So to transfer it right away wouldn't be a good idea. I've left a coal just sitting outside after I've made it, and it's lasted 20 minutes, right? So you've got lots of time. So collect your breathing, collect yourself, and actually get ready for the next stage, which is just transferring this amber to a good bundle of tinder, and then we can start the fire. The tinder bundle I'm going to use is actually black poplar inner bark. So it's very stringy. In fact, I've probably got enough for two, so there's no sense wasting it. So good property of tinder is that it has a high surface area and it's low in density. So this stuff here is really good and nice and dry, right? And so we're going to make ourselves a little nest with this. Kind of stick your thumb in there, so almost like a bird's nest. And now comes the transferring part. See that very thick white smoke? It means I'm close to being there. And there we go. We have fire. Now we really have fire. We stick this into our kindling. And there we go. First thing I'm going to do is just warm. Okay, so I've transferred it now. It seems I've lost it. I'll have to do another one.